I'll tell you about it after. You'll love it. Ready.
Recording in progress.
All right, welcome everyone. It's now 6:31 p.m. I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on this Tuesday, the third day of February 2026. I would ask everyone to please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. As always, Trustee Gopal will lead us.
Heavenly Father, we gather here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom on our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. We thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As always, thanks, Mark. Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Lorraine,
Present.
Reed,
Here.
Clark. Here. Krug is here. Kessler is absent. Wistow is with him. Gopal. Here. And Tucker.
President also wish I was with you. You don't. You really don't. No?
Oh, he's on a cruise.
Met Rob on a cruise?
I didn't mean I had to stay right with Rob.
I think the cruise is
I
on
was
Rob.
thinking-
is what-
I hope they get a nice shrimp and lobster.
Yeah. All right, I'd also like to note for the record that our township attorney, Jack Belzer, our operations manager, Tom Broker, our zoning administrator, Mike Deem, assessor, Julia Wilson, our fire chief, Brian Bolts, and our assistant manager, Megan Gito, are present this evening. Tom, will you detail the procedures for those attending tonight's virtual meeting?
Yes, to the members of the public attending tonight's meeting in person or via Zoom, please be advised the meeting is being recorded to be shown on public access TV on Spectrum Channel 191. Recorded meetings are also posted on the Fenton Area Community Television YouTube channel. For those attending via Zoom, we ask that you keep your microphone muted until we reach portions of the meeting where public comment is allowed. Tonight's meeting, there are no public hearings, therefore all public comment will be taken near the end of the meeting. Meeting materials are available for download on the township's website at fentontownship.org.
Thanks, Tom. All right, moving on to the first business order is approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda?
I'd like to amend the agenda. Under fire department staffing, I would like, or new hires, I'd like to table that
Okay.
for the fire department.
Just remove the agenda.
All right.
Or remove it.
Just remove it. All right. Any other request? All right, a motion is in order to approve the amended agenda as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Clark? Yes. I vote yes. Kessler's absent. Gopal?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, the amended agenda stands approved. Moving on to the next business order is the meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the meeting minutes from the January 20th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to these meeting minutes? Hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Moving on to expenditures. Are there any questions from the board regarding any of the payments or invoices? All right. I will entertain a motion regarding the payment of expenditures totaling $330,542.96 for payment.
Move recommendation of approval of the expenditures as submitted. Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please present the roll?
Yes. I vote yes. Clark? Yes. Kessler is absent. Reed?
Yes.
Gopal?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes,
Motion passes.
and the expenditures stand approved as presented. As Tom said, we have no public hearings tonight. We'll move on to reports. Are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? All right, moving on to communications, we have none. Adoption of ordinances. First one is a proposed moratorium on data centers. This is the introduction and the first reading, and we have our zoning administrator, Mike Dean, to review.
Yeah, so at the first planning commission meeting this year, they reviewed their work plan. One of the topics they wanted to discuss was data centers, right? It's been in the news lately. A lot of communities have been putting moratoriums on the use. Seems like the residents and citizens of the state have identified a number of concerns they have relating to data centers. The second meeting with the planning commission, we reviewed the current ordinance standards for data centers, and really there aren't any, right? There's a couple of different zoning districts where the use could potentially fit in. So the planning commission had some discussion, right? Identified that there were concerns from residents in other communities, and to be proactive, the planning commission has recommended a up to 12-month moratorium on the siting of data centers in the township. That will allow the planning commission opportunity to research and identify what these concerns are by the residents and develop reasonable regulations for data centers. You know, we've put moratoriums on uses in the past. I think that this won't take 12 months. I think once the planning commission gets a handle onto what realistic concerns from the residents are that are actually something that can be regulated at the local level, that the regulations themselves will go pretty quick. So you have the first reading for an ordinance for a moratorium on data centers.
Questions for Mike?
I'm sorry, I was told that those data centers take up a lot of power. I mean, in some of these data centers, they have to have their own power supply of some sort. Is that something you've heard? Or?
Well, that's part of what the planning commission wants to do further investigation on, right? Because there is a lot of, you know, conflicting information. I think that we'll probably find that, yes, they do utilize a lot of energy. I don't know what regulations we may be able to put on relating to that, being a local community. I think what the end result is going to be is that we're going to find some middle ground for regulating on the local level. I think ultimately what's going to happen is that at the federal level, this is going to get tied into the Telecommunications Act, and our ability to regulate these types of uses are going to be severely limited. I view this as being very similar to cell towers, right? When cell towers first came in, a lot of concerns about you know, the effects it has on the environment and the radio waves and how it affects people. Well, as time has gone on, every meeting you start going to, phones start going off, and people now want cell towers, right? The federal government has regulated what regulations you can use for reviewing cell towers, right? So concerns relating to like environmental issues, they've determined that local communities don't really have the resources to do a thorough review of that. So they've kind of taken that away as one of the criteria for review. I think ultimately that's going to be the direction that goes with data centers, regardless if, you know, AI continues in the trajectory it does or not. I think cloud computing and cloud usage, data centers are just going to be a part of our lives, whether we want them to or not. So I think it's important that we review what the concerns are, identify the appropriate locations for them, and identify reasonable regulations for them. And, you know, it's answer those questions, right? That, you know, what is a data center? That's probably like one of the main things that we need to figure out, right? Because, you know, different people have different ideas of what data centers is. So planning commission needs to do their research and make an informed decision for you guys.
Just to raise the question that I was going to ask, that is, do we need to define what a data center is in order to impose a moratorium? Or is it like obscenity, and we can't really define it, but we know what it is when we see it? Don't know?
I don't know. That's a good point. Yeah.
I was going to say, that was a good question.
Well, I think it's a common definition what a data center is. I mean, that's a good point, but it's like saying a book. I mean, you don't really have to define a book because there's a common definition. And so when all else fails, they tell you, look at the dictionary.
So we know it when we see it.
I suppose
Kind of,
ultimately it's
yeah.
going to fall on your zoning administrator, right? He's going to have to make a determination whether he feels that it's a data center, and if the applicant disagrees, they can do an interpretation with the zoning board of appeals. Unfortunately, that means it's me, but, you know, that's...
So I had a concern with the language in the actual ordinance that says we're going to do a moratorium on the establishment and use of data centers. How do we know there aren't already data centers operating? What is it? Like, your analogy, a book. Okay, you know what a book is. But a data center could be 3 servers in a closet, or it could be 3 million servers in a building. What is a data center?
Definition
So-
here says a facility used to house computer systems and associated components.
Right, so I think, you know, maybe we wanna do a moratorium on establishing dedicated data centers, but I'm not sure we wanna include that and use of. Cause they may already be here in existence, so now you would put those people, you know, technically they're violating an ordinance. Right,
Most large companies could be considered a data center. I
Absolutely.
have 5 file servers.
Absolutely.
However, I think, like Jack was saying, though, you know, that people look at data centers as a large bank of computers that are servicing the world. So you know, whether we
Yeah,
need
do
to
we-
define that or,
John could have them in his house.
I was thinking you had some in yours. You weren't
I
telling us.
might, I might.
So you guys have data centers,
Yeah,
huh?
I'm thinking, they're dating each other.
I mean, these data centers are I've been to one and they're very loud. I mean, it just sounds like a beehive. It's just like, huh?
That's the big concern everybody
Yeah.
always has, is the noise.
Noise.
Yeah, yeah, so, you wouldn't think it, but it's just those fans are continuously running. But they have these liquid cooled, they're trying to cool it down with liquid cooled versus the fans. And, that's the big transition that's happening right now. But they're loud, I mean, no question about it, so.
Jack, do you think we need to, looking at the ordinance, define or,
We can work on that by the next meeting.
okay, cause this
Tweak a
is the
little
first
bit,
reading.
yeah.
Let's take a look at the language and,
Yeah, like, in my mind, there's gotta be some sort of, like, electrical permit, you know, service upgrade associated with it,
Yeah.
right? And we haven't had anything like that. I don't think just, you know, home server for your videos and whatnot, or, you know, if you have a media company and you're hosting your videos that you know, edit and whatnot and share with workers, I don't think that's what the intent is. So we can definitely clarify that, something scale related and energy service, electrical service related.
What if someone came to us today and said they want to put in a data center? What do our ordinances support? You said there may be areas that. they
Yeah,
can-
so I think reading the ordinance as it is today, it'd probably be a permitted use in our industrial and office zoning districts. And then because it would be a permitted use in an office, it would be a special use permit in our commercial districts. I feel fairly confident that it's not allowed in our agricultural or residential districts. So, if someone were to come in within the next 2 weeks, it's probably not the end of the world, but.
The moratorium would stop that anyways. I mean, even though it's not passed yet, when we do it in 2 weeks. And I just looked up here on the computer thing. A secure
You went
centralized
to a
physical
data
facility
computer thing.
for building that houses and
Holding his
organizations
phone.
critical. I mean, there's a definition.
so we can just add that to the ordinance before we,
Yeah.
get here next week.
And I guess my question on that was, do we really need a moratorium?
Oh, it's a real issue.
Oh, I know
I
it's an
mean-
issue in other areas, that's why I just wanted to understand,
but-
what does our current ordinance support?
I'm telling you that it's an issue.
Oh, I know, it's been a
So-
big issue in a lot
so,
of
you know, Bill just
very
brought up
rural
the-
areas.
Well, no, that's what, it's more, it's nearer than this. Okay, I mean, there's one, I know of 4 that are working on ordinances right now that have moratorium. So that'll be a good source of material when we get into it. Now, a lot of this stuff, even thought about the idea of getting people together just to exchange ideas.
Right.
Because to Bill's point, you know, there's a number of different things that you hear about, and I will say that sound is, between Jack and Bill, that's the first time I've heard about sound. Heard about a couple of other
Yeah.
issues, water consumption, electricity consumption, the cost of the capital improvements to be able to get the water and the electricity into the structure. I mean, there's some real things. I'm telling you, it's close to home. So we don't wanna
Oh, I know they're
dally
looking
with
for,
that, and I think that
looking for places to put them,
the
for
thing
sure.
to do is hit the brakes right now, and if I were to answer your question for Mike, an application comes in the next 2 weeks, I'm sure the person that's handling applications is gone for 2 weeks.
Sounds like a paid vacation, Mike.
Sounds good to me. But no, I do think a moratorium is necessary, right? Because, you know, a permitted use it's the site plan, right? Do you meet your setbacks? Do you meet X, Y, and Z? At the very least, a special use permit, then, you know, there's a little bit more reasonable conditions that a planning commission can put on it. But, you know, the locations where we have office, right, those are in your residential properties. And I think one of the key factors that we're gonna find that we wanna regulate is noise. Probably put some additional noise restrictions on it than would otherwise be allowed. I think this is just, you know, my
are we
thing.
gonna, if it sounds like buzzing, it's an industrial area.
Well, but it may not be, right? Like, under the ordinance today,
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going by
Right.
today, I'm thinking Township. I just don't see Fenton Township as a hotbed of data center needs, but, and I also think, oh, shut up.
but I think we have a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I think that's part of the research the planning commission is going to be
Well,
doing.
that
I think
picture
that,
shows hyperscale data centers, I totally get that, but I'm thinking, half of a floor of your building. Is it a data center? Yeah.
well, but, and then maybe that's the end result, right? There's multiple classifications, right? If
Oh,
it's,
yeah, absolutely.
you know, if we look at how the ordinance was done for solar farms, right? We have different classifications, right, based on the size and what those regulations are. I think we'll probably end up something similar to that. And it's not the end of, it's probably better to have more smaller ones than,
Yeah, but
you know,
infrastructure, they're gonna pay for the consumers to bring it in there. I don't think, we got water now, so I don't think excessive water use is gonna be a huge issue, so,
But-
somebody shut up and I'll.
but I think the line I don't think the planning commission's too far from your line of thinking also. But I do think that there's a lot of unknowns that they want to consider before they make the reasonable decisions on those regulations.
I can tell you, I'm ignorant about it. I've heard the issues, and I think it's gonna be an interesting process to try and remove some of the ignorance, just to see, you know, what's real and what's imaginary. Because Mike's point's valid. Every time anything new comes, there's a parade of terrible horribles that gets marched down, and 15, 20 years later, you look back and you
Problems
go,
we don't have.
yeah.
And most, and this is just out there, but if you're reading a lot, there's a good article in the Wall Street, I think, Friday, that most data centers in the next 10 years are going to be, no, they're
In
gonna be
space.
satellite, they're gonna be moving around the yeah, because they don't have to worry about cooling, they don't have to worry about anything, and they can use the big sun that's up there for power. So, yeah.
I think the only benefit of these centers, for a community, is just tax revenue, because you're not gonna employ that many people, because these all are self-sufficient. So, don't anticipate a lot of employees to be produced, like the Miller Industry Building. They're getting 600 people out of this versus these, if you had a building. Yeah, well,
Probably wouldn't even do that.
I guess in my mind, right, I keep on referring back to cell towers, right? Cell towers don't employ anybody. But if we didn't have cell towers, man, our lives would be very different. And I think that's, at the end result, whatever you use a data center for, we're gonna be using them. And, if it employs 2 people, well, it's still 2 more than the cell towers being employed.
I truly don't think if it's tucked in the woods somewhere, there's no communities around it, housing, I don't think it'll really hurt, because, a lot of these are gonna be liquid cooled, that's the direction they're going, and you're not gonna hear the buzzing. I think you'll have more noise at other facilities, and I don't think potentially it could create problems, but the grid, as long as they have a power grid, I think that's a big concern.
Any other questions from Mike? Before I open it up to public, I did have 3 phone calls today. All 3 will certainly be at your meetings.
Okay.
But there is one that actually took the time and wrote me an email. I will not read this today because it's quite long, but it's in it's, for the moratorium, and really, again, all of them were,
So these
against.
are residents then?
These are residents. So, but what I'll do is I'll give this to you, and I've already followed up with her and let her know that I was going to at least talk about it tonight, and, but just wanted to let you know. Any other questions before we get to open it up to the public? All right, do we have it, you don't have anything written, Tom, do you? Okay. I'll now open up the, meeting for public comment, and again, this is just on the proposed moratorium on data centers. Is there anybody in attendance that would like to come up? If so, come to the podium. Doesn't look like we have anybody. We have no one on Zoom this evening. That's very rare. All right, since there's no one here attending or joining us via Zoom, I will now close the public hearing. I don't think there's any other comments or questions at this point, correct? All right, the second reading and the vote on the adoption of the proposed ordinance will be conducted at our February 17th meeting. Moving on to unfinished business, this evening we have none. Moving to new business, this is resolution number 2026-05. This is nonprofit profit designation, Fenton Lake Sportsman Club. Operations Manager Broker, will you review?
Yes, we received a request from the Fenton Lake Sportsman's Club for a resolution. We've got a regular resolution in the packet, but there's also a state form that's in the packet that is a type of resolution. But they want to be recognized as a nonprofit, tax-exempt organization operating in the community for the purposes of getting a charitable gaming license that will allow them to have raffles and other fundraisers with a license from the Michigan Lottery. So I believe Mr. Marks is here this evening from the club to answer questions and maybe give a little more information.
Mr. Marks for coming up. Any questions? Oh,
sorry.
did you want to speak first?
No, go ahead.
Sure.
I was just gonna say what Tom said is basically it.
Do you want to expand on it at all, or?
I can. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Fenton Lake Sportsman's Club. You know, we do some charitable work within the community, primarily as it would affect Fenton residents. The local sheriff and town police departments use our facilities for training and currency requirements. You know, as our costs go up, we are always looking for new ways to generate revenue. A raffle license that we basically do internally would be one way for us to generate some of that income to offset our maintenance needs. So that's what we're looking to do.
So are you currently a for-profit?
No, we are not. We have always been a nonprofit organization.
Okay.
Yep. There was a letter from the IRS in the packet defining us as a nonprofit. It goes all the way back to the 50s.
I thought that might be a question I'd ask, so I just thought I'd ask you right up front. All right, is there any other questions or comments from the board?
I actually do these nonprofit determinations. I don't know, 40 years I've done a handful of them. And you get what's called a determination letter. And that's exactly what he's talking about. And I looked at it. It's very rarely that I see things that are dated before I was practicing law. This is dated before I was even born.
Yeah.
And I was in the process of looking, because you've all heard of 501c3, that's one of the common tax exempt status. This is tax exempt pursuant to 101(8). I don't think that's a real statute anymore.
No, we're a
But
501c4.
Yeah, you wouldn't be a 3. There's
Yeah, we're a
actually a
4.
number of different areas, but
Yeah.
I was just checking on the history of that particular statute, because I don't have to do that very often. But anyway, they've been nonprofit for a really long time.
Well, they've also been a good neighbor. They led a lot of groups. I know my wife's Girl Scout group camped out there one spring and used the area down by the house there, the gun house.
Yep. By our Clay's
Yeah.
house. Yep.
Put their little tents up and if it was as old as what you say, John,
That's old.
was it done in charcoal or?
I'm surprised we have a copy of it. You know.
It's a typed letter from technically the Department of Treasury, Bureau of the Internal Revenue Service, I think is how it's.
It's like the old IBM
It's awesome.
electronic.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised we still have such a good copy of it, but.
Yeah, that's
what we do.
Pretty awesome, eh?
Good record
I love
keeping.
history like that.
All right, any other questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, okay, resolution number 2026-05, clerk review. Please present the resolution.
Recommends to the state of Michigan that the request of the Fenton Sportsman Club to be recognized as a nonprofit organization operating in the community for the purpose of obtaining a charitable gaming license be considered for approval. I'll move that resolution.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Reed,
Yes.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler's absent. I vote yes. Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
resolution passes.
All right, next on our new business, we have a proposed herbicide application and a weed harvesting contracts. This is for Panema Squaw Tupper Lake Improvement Special Assessment District. Operations Manager, will you please review?
Yes, if you remember back in December, at the recommendation of progressive companies, the herbicide application contract with the previous contractor was terminated with concurrence from, or with agreement from that contractor. They rebid it out, but they decided, working with the lake associations, to do two different treatment options. One, the typical herbicide applications, but also to try some mechanical plant harvesting to cut down on the weeds and maybe reduce the amount of chemicals they need to use. So they bid out two different contracts. The recommendation is Aqua Weed Control, Inc. for the herbicide applications and PLM Lake and Land Management for the plant harvesting. They provided proposed agreements. The agreements do give the township the ability to terminate with or without, without their approval. And so they are recommending that they be approved, and they will begin working weather permitting.
All right, thanks, Tom. Any questions or comments from the board?
I have a question. How many lakes do we have in Fenton Township?
Depends on your definition. It's around 17 or 18. Some are a little small.
Yeah,
But,
just
yeah.
kind of curious.
I thought there was 22.
Depends on your
How many?
definition.
You got, Chief, you got it? 22?
Okay.
Good to
Again,
know.
some are,
Ponds,
is it a pond? Is it a lake? Tomato? Okay.
gotcha. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, I will entertain a motion regarding the proposed herbicide application contract with Aqua Weed Control, Inc. for the Panema Squaw Tupper Lake Improvement Special Assessment District as presented.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Kessler's absent. I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next, I'll entertain a motion regarding the aquatic plant harvesting contract for PLM Lake and Land Management for the Panema Squaw Tupper Lake Improvement Special Assessment District as presented.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Kessler's absent. Motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next on our new business is appointments to the Genesee County Metropolitan Alliance. I'm sure we reviewed the letter from the GCMPC. Just a reminder that in 2025, the appointees were Trustee Clark was our elected rep, Andy Marco was the citizen rep, and Trustee Kessler was the alternate. So I've made several conversations, talked to Trustee Clark, and had a conversation with Ronnie Medawar, and that will be my recommendation. So are there any questions or comments from the board?
You still in, Bill?
Am I
Yes.
still in? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Any other-
Kessler's not here, so.
I've already talked to him.
He's vulnerable.
I don't do that. I talked to him.
Oh, I do.
I would vote for it too, John.
Well, he's there.
Yeah, he won and didn't even know it.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to appoint trustee William Clark as the elected representative, Ronnie Medawar as the citizen representative, and trustee Robert Kessler as the alternate representative on the Genesee County Metropolitan Alliance for 2026.
Second. Or was that a motion, or are you looking for one?
I'm looking for one.
I will move those recommendations for approval.
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
I'll start with Mr. Clark.
Well, I have to say yes, for sure.
No.
Really, but-
No, you can say no.
Kessler's absent. Boy, he could have got it easy. I'll vote yes. Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
I'd like to thank the
motion
board. I think,
passes.
thanks, Bob, and I think Ronnie will be a new addition and a good addition. He's very involved in our township, as you know, lives here. All right, moving on to the next under new business is the resignation from Fenton Township Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. I'm sure we've all reviewed the memo in the packet. Are there any questions or comments at all? Yeah, I'd like to thank you, Bob, for participating on the time in which you did. I'm sure the
Appreciate it.
board would all want to thank you, so I do thank you for the time that you put into the board. Okay, any other questions, comments? Moving on, I will entertain a motion to accept the resignation of Robert Krug from the Fenton Township Parks and Recreation Advisory Board effective immediately.
Make a motion to approve?
Second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Kessler is absent. Reed,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
should I even vote on this?
I had to.
No, I'm thinking legally.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know, Jack. I can't answer that one.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, you could vote on it. You're resigning, but yeah.
Oh, the devil's wanting me to say no.
Go right ahead. Motion's to,
I lost 6-1. I vote yes. Motion passes.
thanks, Bob. All right, next on our new business, it's just the appointment to the Fenton Township Parks and Recreation Board. You know, the board does now have to fill that vacancy. And, you know, just, we all know, and again, appreciate what Bob's done up to this date. The Parks and Rec Board, Advisory Board, is gonna play a very important role in the township. You know, we've got a lot of big things that are coming up in front of the board. They'll all be coming our way. You've got the Fenton, Lake Fenton Trail, the pathway that's gonna be connecting all of our schools. You've got the dog park, things like that. So I just want, you know, I'm sure the board recognizes the fact that, to me, the Parks and Rec Board is gonna be a very important board going forward as this township has some things coming up, so. I did take the time. I had interviews, made several phone calls, and it is my recommendation to appoint our treasurer, John Tucker, to that board.
The treasurer will point out that he called dibs when this was first done. Reflect in the minutes, check it out.
And we did have a conversation. John understands the importance, at least it is to this board, for attendance and everything else. So I think we have put somebody that wants to be there.
This stuff is important to me, and I don't have all the time in the world, but this
I know.
is something that is important. So I would like to participate. I got big shoes I'm trying to walk in, but would never started without you, Bob. You got the whole thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you got it started, so.
It was a struggle, but we succeeded.
You were,
And it was a board action, not mine.
yeah, but you were pulling you were the lead of the team. You were pulling the sled hard.
But it should work out quite well.
Hope so.
Any other questions or comments for the board? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to appoint John Tucker to the Fenton Township Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for the term ending March 31st, 2026.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Lorraine,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Kessler's absent. Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. All right, moving on to board comment. Is there anyone on the board that has additional comments or concerns they'd like to talk about tonight? Moving on to public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. This is the time of the evening as we come to the close to ask anybody that's here tonight that would like to come up and address the board on agenda or non-agenda items. All I need you to do is speak your name. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Brooke Tucker. It's lovely to see you all again. As you know from the last time I was here, I am running for district court judge. Our esteemed judge, Mark McCabe, is retiring after 34 years. And again, just like Treasurer Tucker said, big shoes to fill, big shoes to walk in after someone like that in a career that he had. Many of you know I grew up in Fenton. I was blessed enough to be able to be raised on the lake. Went to St. John Fenton, K through 8, graduated from Powers. Actually went to school with Mr. Tucker's kids. And I wanted to let you guys know tonight that I am.
Yeah, ouch, it's right. Ouch. Thanks, Brock.
Hey, it's not my fault that you have children near 40 years old. That's not my fault.
That was good. Good comeback, Brooke. I love
Is it
it.
cold in here, or is it cold?
There was a breeze come through, John.
So I am running because I think that we need someone smart, someone hardworking, someone dedicated to this community, in particular to keeping this community safe. As you know, the district court sits in a position to see every felony and misdemeanor at its outset, as well as landlord-tenant issues, small claims, and a host of other issues that come before the court are just important to the local community. And I submit to you that I'm planning to work hard in the election, and if I am elected, I will work hard every day for our community. That said, I also think we need to keep the court efficient and working for our residents. And so I will be looking to make efficiency upgrades and technology upgrades that are already available to the court, just making better use of those. If you have people or know anyone who's in the court, district court, not just Judge McCabe, but district court generally, there are complaints of efficiency, and so that's something that I would like to work on and again, assist. As mentioned, I am a resident here, been a resident of Fenton Township for almost 40 years now. So time flies. I worked in the prosecutor's office for years after law school doing what's called civil defense. So basically I represent municipalities, not unlike Mr. Belzer actually, but at the county level. So everything from animal control to sheriff's office to health department all have legal needs. For example, I've worked on things that have benefited this community. The $6.5 million in ARPA funds that I believe Supervisor Lorraine went down to the Board of Commissioners to talk with about getting those ARPA funds. That's a contract that came across my desk and that I worked on. The water tower that we have in Fenton Township, now I worked on that contract as well. So there's a lot of legal needs that the county has. That's what I do for a living. Also grateful to see community leaders like Chief Bowles in the room. I saw him recently at the Flint Township Fire open house. And I have, a lot of experience in the law. I could go on and on between contracts, litigation, policies, ballot language. Suffice to say, I have enough experience for the district court position. I actually also represent the courts. So for example, when a package of bills comes through and the court needs help understanding how that will affect their docket, they come to someone like me, come to me a lot, to understand that. So I would be ready to do the job day one. And like all of you, I plan to work hard for this community for the remainder of my career. And I would really look forward to speaking with you more about my qualifications, answering any questions that you might have. And over the course of the next few months, I look forward to earning your vote. Does anybody have any questions?
That's a very good job.
Oh, thank you.
I just want to let you know that was
Well done.
well done.
Thank you so
I
much.
have one. I will start out. What is your position on keeping the court located in Fenton Township?
It's a great question. I think the courts need to stay separate, and I think the court needs to stay on Silver Lake Parkway to be able to better serve our residents. You guys may or may not have been down to the new administration building or been to the District Court McCree building. We all know parking is horrible down there. We all know having someone have to leave our community to get services that should be available in our community just doesn't make sense.
Important to me that it stays here for our residents. I know that's out of your hands, even if you were the judge, but,
Absolutely, yep. The legislature obviously has the ability to have some say, although you guys may know that there was a lawsuit when they tried to close the courts. And so the lawsuit resulted in a settlement. I can commit to you that I would not be part of a settlement. You know, they'd have to force the court to close for it to close on my watch. Not to say that they couldn't, but that the settlement that occurred to close the Flushing District Court and the Mount Morris District Court is not something that I would want for our community.
thank you for answering that. Any other questions? Good luck.
Thank you so much. Yep,
What
you'll
do you-
see
What do
me
your
around.
thoughts of, Mr. Belzer? Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Actually, I've known
Let me
Jack
remind you
for
about
a
the Fifth
really long
Amendment.
time. I've been lucky enough to know Jack for
I'm just
years and years, and also Alan Robb that works in his office as well. I've known Alan Robb, I think, majority of my life, so been very lucky to know many people in our legal community and have the support of many people in our legal community as I go forward with the campaign. So, thanks.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? All right, well, there's still nobody on, right? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Well, it is now 7:12 p.m. I want to thank everyone for coming, and if there's nothing else, I say good night, and the meeting's adjourned.